debate is between the House Budget Committee and the National Institute of Health on stem cell research funding and the general funding process. Today's question is, should the NIH receive a greater budget for stem cell research? Speaking for the motion is Dr. Stem Cell from the Stem Cell Unit, and representing the House Budget Committee is Senator Nostim. We will entertain each speaker to speak for a maximum of 1 minute per section. First to speak for the motion is Dr. Stem Cell.
Thank you. I want to start off by stating the facts. In 2010, the budget for the NIH was at its highest with $31 billion. From the funding, discoveries led to many medical advances and led to $68 billion in economic activity. However, the House Republicans since 2010 have wanted to cut the budget by more than $1 billion. And this is very sad because it reverses a 15-year bipartisan effort to support medical research. The NIH budget has almost tripled over the last decade and a half. The House action reflects the breakdown of bipartisan support for battling diseases, and the NIH commands universal respect. When we talk about stem cell research, in 2009, President Obama overturned previous rulings that disallowed government grant funds to go toward embryonic stem cell research. Now, scientists can apply for NIH funding for stem cell research today. Whatever others say and talk about, introducing this field of the research is a dire need in curing the various diseases, but also should be used safely.
Please wrap it up.
The stem cell lines today are still inadequate for the quality of research needed. The time has come to expand federal funding for research on embryonic stem cells so we can continue to make strides toward cures and treatments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stem Cell. Now we will entertain Senator Nostim to speak against the motion.
We have provided the NIH with a great amount of funding over the past decade and a half, and we will not allow them to continue advancements in science and stem cell research, but we want to let them know that they need to reproportion the budget because the economy is not what it should be yet, and we are in a deficit. The past couple of years, NIH has received the greatest amounts of funding for stem cell research, and we recognize it is a newer program, but we do see that the other programs, China, for example, or Singapore's stem cell programs have not doubled, and yet they have the same amount of results as papers as American labs did. What are we doing wrong here, Doctor?
Thank you, Senator. And now we will hear again from Dr. Stem Cell.
We're not doing anything wrong. The NIH is the future in solving America's problems. I think we should be strategic about program cuts, and the NIH should be exempted from them. It's simple, really. We need to tackle the current budget deficit by increasing revenue and decreasing healthcare costs. Funding the NIH can accomplish both. What are the consequences if we cannot receive any grants as a scientist? All of us who are responsible for operating academic research labs must keep them funded. If we cannot maintain that funding, we all lose our jobs. There's no research. That's it. Young researchers today have excellent training, are ready to start serious research on their own. But there's not enough money, and there's already pressure for them to go into the private practice. You guys are putting them into exile. They can go to places like Singapore and China, yes, China, which are ambitiously expanding health research. Today, donated organs and tissues are often used to replace those that are diseased or destroyed. Unfortunately, the number of people needing a transplant far exceeds the number of organs available for transplantation. Pluripotent stem cells offer the possibility of a renewable source of replacement cells and tissues to treat a lot of diseases, such as Parkinson's disease, spinal cord injury, burns, heart disease, diabetes, and arthritis, which all of them you have.
All right, please wrap it up.
And I would just like to say that people feel that embryonic stem cells are human organisms, and it's not right to experiment on human beings or stop human life from developing. If this is true, then how is someone who is already living and can benefit from stem cell therapy any different? Is it fair to see their lives, in a sense, end too? There are countless fully developed human beings who are willing to give themselves.
Doctor, you have clock here. We have clock, right?
Giving themselves for the benefit of others. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Now we will entertain our last speaker of the day, Senator Nostim.
I do not doubt the promise of our young scientists and The argument today is not whether we should have stem cell research or not. Adult stem cells have shown more promise at this time than with embryonic stem cell research, which your lab has been getting into, doctor. And these embryonic stem cells tend to cause cancer as they are a foreign substance in the host body. The federal government is already $9 trillion in debt and does not need to spend more billions on research that has billions of dollars already in it. We do not oppose stem cell research, but we need to have the NIH become more concise and practical with its practices. We need to invest in research that all Americans believe is ethical and support greatly to cure diseases that has made us one of the leading research nations in the world.
Thank you, Senator Nostim, and thank you, Dr. Sampson.